Check it out now. The petty party continues. Holy. Now, Meg Thee Stallion, or maybe you call her Meg the Mule, I don't know. You tell me what it is. Basically, Meg Thee Stallion, she's getting sued by a record label. She tried to sue them, and they're suing her back. Now, if you don't know, remember Meg Thee Stallion got into it with me, basically claiming like she was like some big wig, big dog, all type of stuff in the industry. Well, I definitely checked her ass when I said, yo, how you claiming all of this, but you need to sue every time you need to release a record? Also, you're in a deal that you've been kicking, screaming, and crying and posting on Instagram talking about it's unfair. Now, Meg Thee Stallion is trying to go to Roc Nation, okay? Basically, she already got them as management. She wants to leave the guy who uses baseball money to fund all that hot girl shit, okay? Now, that's called Crawford, 1501 ENT. He funded all the BS she was doing for years. And as soon as she popped off, somebody introduced her to Roc Nation, and now she wants to say goodbye to the person who funded her career in the get-go. Now, fortunately for her, there's something called a contract. And also, unfortunately for all artists, this is what it usually says in most contracts, okay? Hey, you are to deliver this amount of albums before we are square, okay? Now, here's also the problem, and this I won't defend because this is BS a little bit. After people stopped caring about mixtapes, right? Remember mixtapes was a thing? Basically, labels use the terminology of mixtapes to basically not count projects that essentially now all go on DSPs, all get sold, all get basically streamed. Remember, a mixtape used to be something dropped on Dat Piff, live mixtapes. You know, it was on one of those outlets or it was just handed out like, you know, from the trunk of a car. It pretty much wasn't about the sales. It was about promoting the artist that the artist could get hot for the album. That's what it was back in the days. These days, everything go up on Apple Music. So what's the difference between a mixtape and something that's actually going to be an album? It's all about what the label deems is an album versus a mixtape. So they play these little games basically saying, hey, listen, you usually got to give us like 2 or 3 EPs or mixtapes to heat it up before we could drop the album because we don't want to drop the album when you're not in peak cycle and then we don't benefit off of it and then you sign a bigger deal or go somewhere else and then they benefit off of it, okay? So they play these little games. Anyway, Meg Thee Stallion apparently only owes one more project to 1501, okay? She dropped a project called Something for the Hotties. Everybody kind of saw it like an EP. It could technically be counted as an album or called an album just by, you know, official certification standards. However, she didn't promote it that crazy. She wasn't going that crazy. I don't even think she did no interviews for it. She just threw it up on her Instagram in terms of promotion. However, it was original music. Now, Meg Thee Stallion was hoping that that particular project fulfilled her contract and she was going to walk free. She was going to walk away from 1501 Entertainment and she was going to be fulfilled. Except they're coming back to say, no, that was a mixtape that don't count. You still owe us an album. So that's what's going on. They sued Meg Thee Stallion to say, you're not out of the contract yet. You need to give us another official album and something that we deem an album. And Meg's attorney is basically saying, and this is what they said, this is another absurd attempt by 1501 to disregard Meg Thee Stallion's album and squeeze more money and more free work out of her as long as possible. We will ask the court to protect Megan from this type of abuse. Now, let me be petty, then let me be real. Petty, Meg, I thought you was a boss. Clearly you're not. You're just another peon artist, because all y'all go through this. Second of all, I feel bad for all artists that do go through this. Because at the end of the day, this terminology, this play with a mixtape versus an album is what labels have done for years to keep very lucrative artists in contracts that should be renegotiated or they should be getting a lot more out of. Okay, they basically call some of your most important works mixtapes, or they basically said, hey, we didn't approve that to be an album. It's a sick game. Not going to say that's fair at all. However, remember Meg told me she was like some boss and like she was talking that big stuff. I wonder where that mouth is at today. Okay, Meg, I expect you to get on Instagram like you got on Instagram to talk to me, to talk about this goddamn case, but I guess you won't because you're a goddamn peon, just another artist getting fucked in the record music industry, okay? Get in the comment box, subscribe, like, and subscribe to Akademiks. I'm out.